Okay. I think we're live now. Just gonna wait a little bit here and see if this connects. This is my first stream in a while. I was gonna say in a minute, but it's been longer than a minute. So I'm just trying to figure out what exactly is happening here, and then I'll get started mixing some paints and getting into this cheese painting. Now the colors look a little bit different recorded because this looks off. Select stream. This is it. Okay. Delay ads. Insert ad. Delay ads. Just not have any ads at the beginning. I'd love to see. Let's see if I'm actually. I am live right now. Okay. The only thing I'm missing is the chat. I wonder if there's I used to have a little chat window. Okay, I'm just mic test here. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm muted over here. No. Okay, I'm just mic test here. It's so delayed. Okay. Okay. So delayed, okay. Alright, it's technically working. I'd love to see. We'll try and use this chat here. I had a better one. But this looks good, I think. This is a nice setup. We've got the painting right here. You can see the reference. You can see myself. I think that's good enough to at least start mixing a little bit of paint just to get going. I need. Where's the palette? Oh, the palette knife's probably up here, isn't it? No. There's one here. But that's not the one I was using before. This is it. Okay. I take any excess paints from the day before and I just sort of, with a palette knife, I wipe them off onto a Tupperware lid like this. And I put this in the freezer. So I think if you're working with the paint the next day, you can do this. You can't really keep it in there any longer without covering it and not exposing it to the air. But if it's just a day, I think that's fine. Put this music back on. Just slightly in the background here, very lightly. Okay, I've got, I wonder if I could, I don't know if that's going to stay. Well, as it says, this is definitely makeshift. So we've got white paint, brown paint, burnt umber, titanium white, ultramarine blue, and what is this? This is like a medium red. I also need some yellow. I'll put the yellow right there. And then I have some already mixed up gunk. Start with this sort of like yellow, white yellow for the cheese. This is a bit of gray blue for the moldiness. Got like this brown for the side plane. Slightly more orange. I can't remember what this one's for. I'll just put it over here. And it doesn't really matter. I'm just grabbing what I had from last session. As you can see, there's a good amount of... let's fix this again quickly. So I've made a good amount of damage. I've done a decent amount of work on this painting. So I set up the drawing itself, placed the board and the cheese. It's still super wet, as you can see. But I think I'm going to start really nice and simple. And start to put in some black. So first things first, I got to mix some black. I don't know about this music for next time, but we'll just do this for now. So to mix a black, the other thing is I need GAN. All kind of a new setup here, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Just opening up my little tin that I hold Gamsol in. Use Gamsol to just clean my brushes off in between uses. So I'll grab this. It's a good amount of brown. I want even more blue than brown. So if you don't know, burnt umber, ultramarine, blue, the combination makes a pretty dark value, essentially a black. Now, you can add more blue or more brown to have it to be like a warmer or a cooler black. This is very, I think a lot of people know this. Or you could just use black of the two. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. People say that there is, but I'm not convinced. So, I'm just going to start really slowly here by outlining a part of this cheese. I should probably get a little bit of oil out. This is my oil container. So I keep, sometimes like if I'm traveling, Gamsol on one side and then the dirty side oil. This is a really good camera now. So you can see it's quite dirty. But I'll just open this up. It's very stuck, as it tends to be, but it is spinning. Just don't want to spill it, so I do this carefully. Plus the lid comes off occasionally. Okay, so this is some really dirty linseed oil in here. Can't really show it without spilling, but I feel like that's okay. Just gonna clip this onto my... Oh wow, that's really close. Okay. We're going to clip that right there onto the palette knife. And we'll use that brush later. I'm putting stuff down, I'm picking stuff up, I'm losing stuff. There's got to be a brush under here, right? There it is. Okay, so current plan. Grab a bit of black. So I've got tiny little brush here. And this is definitely too small to be working with right now, but I just want to sort of start making this background a little darker. And to do that safely, without messing up what I've already drawn, I'm using the small brush. Oh gosh, I can hardly even see that. But I'm just going around the outside edge of this cheese, trying to define that shape a little bit better. Actually, this background is super wet still, so this might be harder than I thought. Try a little bit down here. Looks good. Nope. So I just took a dry brush there to move the paint that was already on the canvas. I think there's a chance my chat isn't working here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just go over to my channel. Ugh. I need to wait for these ads. Move that over there. Okay, perfect. Now I think I can see the chat reasonably easy. Okay, back to what I'm doing here. Just adding a very, very thin layer of black around this side edge. Clean the brush off here. So I worked on this a little bit yesterday. That's why it is not a blank canvas. But I figured out that I could use my phone and connect it to OBS and live stream from it. Because previously I was using a webcam and the quality was just so low that it wasn't worth, I don't think it was worth streaming. So I didn't do it. But now that I can use my phone to record, I think it's a great idea. So first thing I'm going to do here is leave the background. It's too wet. I tried to add paint to it. It's just not working out for me. So either I'm going to work in on some of the textures of the blue within the cheese, or maybe I'll start on the side here trying to figure out what I should do. Don't want to jump into anything crazy. I have my reference image off to the side. Just so you know, I have really added no color to this. This is essentially burnt umber and a bit of white and yellow for this like base layer of the cheese, but I do think it should go more yellow. And as I can see in my stream, I have it on the side here. It's kind of nice because I can see both the reference photo and the painting that I'm working on. And I can see that the colors aren't right, obviously not right. So, but that's fine. I knew they wouldn't be. So I think what I'm going to do actually, as is usually recommended, is work from dark to light. Start maybe in this corner here and just use brown. Don't go like, I'm not going crazy here. Maybe brown with mixed a little blue, make it darker. Thin it out with thin it out with linseed oil so that it just flows a little bit better. and I want to sort of establish where the end of the cheese is and where the shadow begins. Like the drop shadow versus the underside of the cheese. And if I look, it seems to me like I don't quite have it right. So let's just get in here a little bit. It goes to a point. It's working super slow. I think this is probably going to be like a couple hour session. I've got a couple hours before I have to go and make dinner, so now is the perfect time to do a little session of painting. Hang out and just sort of work on whatever you're working on. Now I wonder, is it of any value? If anyone's in the chat, let me know too. I want to zoom in on this. Is that possible? It is and it isn't. So let's just do that for a second. I think that's slightly better. A little bit too much linseed oil in the mix I have here. That's all right. It's not going to matter too much here. I just want to define these shapes underneath the cheese. One side is flat, that is the drop shadow. The other side has ridges that go around. And I think I might make it a little bit more flat. Right now it's sort of angled more than I'd like it to be. But all I have to do is increase the area where the drop shadow is. And then we're all good. And if you're hopping over here after watching my year of painting video, you just sort of noticed I was live over here, say hi. Feel free to ask me whatever questions you want. I'll be checking the chat every once in a while here. Other than that, though, I think it's all about painting. Got this part where it kicks up. In this live stream, I will be painting. Are you gonna paint Swiss cheese? That's awesome. I hope you are. Just wanted to make the title very informative. And then this continues down. It's too much, but I can go over it again when I paint the board. Make it a little smaller. Just working with the darks right now. It's kind of a tight little area. That looks pretty good though, actually. This whole section here seems to be a little large. Mice don't actually like cheese that much. Well, I don't actually like cheese that much either. It's just that they're hungry mice. Hungry mice happen to be in areas where cheese is stored. Really? You know, what is it? Pixar lies to us. Always lying to us. Update on the pochade box. Is that how you say that? You're kidding. I hate when those like little periphery parts of the equipment break, you know? Easy enough to fix, but it's kind of annoying, right? Like, thanks for the update though. That's kind of a bummer. Okay. Gonna need this to be a little bit more upright. Might be nice to have a secondary brown color to play around with in here. Maybe I'll use this. Oh, pochade. And you say pochade. Pochade. All these art terms, you know? I never know how to pronounce it. It's a French word, but I'm from Calgary, not Quebec. Yeah, exactly. Same. That's gotta be way darker. Okay, I need more brown. Just a little bit of brown. Super Pair, what do you think of the higher quality? Is this a big step up? What's the worst part about? Probably the audio. I think you made a comment. I would love to see it, but if you don't have any social media, I get it. That's totally fine. I'm just curious. Of course I want to see it. This might be too freaking wet to work on. It's not too bad? That's good. That's really good. I'm thinking the audio needs to be improved, but now I'm really happy with the main thing was I want this, the camera that's capturing this needs to be higher quality. And now that I can use my phone, I mean, that is huge. You did number 8. I'll have to look up which one that is. I don't necessarily remember. That's so awesome, though. Was it blue cheese or was it Parmesan? Oh, wait, you said... did you say? Maybe not. So we have this big curl. And I do think it goes around like this. I think we want kind of there. Careful here, hold on. It was the blue cheese. What's up, Anna? Painting some blue cheese here. You can see the reference photo right there. And then this is the painting, if you can believe it. It's not actually a piece of cheese. I guess that's probably pretty obvious at this stage. Actually, at all stages, really. just working with the darks right now. Trying to slowly create a little bit of depth in these cracks. Which I think is actually going reasonably well. But like I said, just the super darks right now. I think that looks pretty nice. You love blue cheese? I actually cannot stand it, but I respect people who like it. And I appreciate that you think it looks good already. That's awesome. I think it is such a nice paint or cheese to paint. That's what I think. It's just got so much going on. I need to add more white there. This is a bit confusing. So we've got this that goes up, then we have a small little fleck there, and then just a little bit off to the side we have some more. Yeah, there has to, where is the orange cheese? I guess that's cheddar cheese, right? And I want this right here. And then I think brown will do on this edge. Maybe just even lighter than that. It's not going down as nicely as I'd like right now. Pushing around a lot of paint that I put down yesterday. Let's just flatten that area out. Ooh, painting a tube of paint. That's a pretty good idea, actually. I love that idea. It's a really good idea. I have a couple of things planned, as always. Someone asked me to do some paintings for their company. They make bread, like focaccia bread. So I said I would definitely do that. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. But a tube of paint in the future is a great idea. The Gamblin 1980 oil paint, if you have it, because it's super... oh, it's the Superior Paint brand, yeah. I need to figure out what paint I really, really enjoy. I'm messing around with these. The Medine paint. Medine. I want to eat their cadmium paints. Not actually, though. Yeah. What do I have? I have, yeah, like I said, I have the Medine, the paints that they sent me. These paints. And then I usually paint with Winsor Newton, M. Graham. Like, this is my nice tube of cadmium paint here. This is M. Graham. I don't know if this is any good or not. I like it, but I just haven't been painting enough. to know if it's actually any good. Okay, let's see here. Little tiny loop here. I think I kind of need the oil for that. Let's see. I need to do like a paint test almost. Make the same picture, you know, a couple times. It's a pretty good brand? Okay, good. I figured it was because that tube of paint was, I think, $45 or something. It's lasted me a while, so I'm not too fussed. Yeah, I think the Winsor Newton ones are definitely, they're cheaper, but they seem to do the job. And I love it when the job gets did. Just a bit more color there. Comes down like this. One, two, skip a few, miss a couple, and you're at day 365. That's exactly how I did it. I didn't even really paint every day. One, two, skip a few. Don't buy Winsor & Newton's hue paints though. No, I never buy hue paints. I do have, I think I have 2 or 3 because I didn't know at the beginning. Like I didn't fully understand. Yeah, it's a bunch of different colors. Yeah, a bunch of different pigments mixed together, which results in a muddier color when the mix. Yeah, you're totally right. I really want to see your cheese painting now. You gotta get social media of some kind. How do you know how to paint? Tell me a little bit about your painting journey. What's up, Kuko? Just want to say that you inspired me to start painting oil after your 1-year video. Oh, that's awesome, man. I think we need more painters. Just have fun with it. Paint what you like to paint. Make mistakes. Dude, it's the best. One of the best things I ever did was start painting. So thanks, I appreciate that, and I'm glad you liked the video. So that's one of the other things I like to do is put together videos. No? Okay, yeah. The dark side is where I always struggle as well. I have a difficult time seeing the colors in the dark side. So I can totally relate in that sense. Sorry, I'm just looking for these shapes here. It's kind of a critical part. It's coming together freaking slowly. That's back when I used use bad oil paints though, so black didn't dried really weird. Interesting. I've never had black dry weird on me. Maybe the paints I use are just slightly good enough. These Meaden paints that I'm using now seem decent. I checked the packaging too, and they're all I think there's a couple hues, but they're all just straight pigment and medium. So I don't know how it can really be bad, unless there's not that much pigment in there. Gonna go a little heavy-handed in these like dark crack areas, and then as I continue to paint, I can cover up some of the areas that are a little bit too dark, and then it won't be an issue. So on this side up here, we kind of have a line too. Brushes were alive, would paint be their food and thinner their water? If brushes were alive. It makes more sense that the paint's the food. I can agree with that. Basically, I mean, other than some of these cadmium colors, it essentially is food. I love how they used to use frickin' eggs. Just like dirt with a little egg in it. And then... I always find it weird when painters don't use thinners. A lot of them don't. It's just interesting. Connect this part. This is a little more bumpy than I have it. Sort of 3 humps on the side. There's that little inlay. Down here is super dark. Let's try and get some paint in there. Now, this is starting to look cool. Pull up from this corner. Try and fill this part in without touching that inlaid part. Create this shape. There's so much darkness going on around here, but I just think the black is too much. Maybe we go with the brown. I think we can kind of just get all over that. Then adding highlights will make that better. Also thinning out this area by pulling and pushing the paint. It's one of my favorite things about oil paint is that you can do this. You can use the brush to move paint that's on the canvas around, which you cannot do really with acrylics. And then there's this curl here that I think I can add. That looks nice. If you speak perfect French with a Frenchman and they reply back, sorry, this text is so far away and small. And they reply back to you in English, say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were an immigrant." This confuses them and then they die. Did you invent this joke? It's too easy to confuse the French. Okay, keep slowly plugging away here. Thinking about doing a more consistent live stream. Start by doing like once a week. This goes like this. Start by doing once a week, I think. Just whatever I'm painting. I think I'll have like sort of the side project, which is maybe the live stream paintings. Okay, that is cut off, that's good. Then there, then down. Goes around a little thingy. So this part needs to be quite dark. I think I made this way too big. So let's try and move it in a little bit. Just suggesting this sort of impression. Just a little bit of paint. And then this one goes this way. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, continue this undershadow. Trying to line it up with plumb lines as best I can. Also, Super Bear, thanks for stopping by and chatting. Appreciate that you enjoy the live streams and show up. It's super cool. All the way to here. This is sort of the next. It's super thin here though. What's up, Dexter? Thanks for stopping by. One of my friends showed me your apple painting vid on the basics of painting, and it was a really well-made video. Keep going. Thank you. That must have been one of my shorts. I did paint a couple of apples. But I appreciate it. Dun-dun-dun-dun. We've stepped up into chase. We paint the chase now. Super difficult here to get all these lines in that are like, they're so light. I don't want to overdo them. Okay. Just Just take a second, look at it. It's not really what it looks like, but it's getting there. Painting a pumpkin is also a good idea. Probably a jack-o'-lantern would be fun. You know what I have that it is maybe even better is a skull. I have a deer skull I've been thinking of. I think it's a deer. But I have one that I've been thinking of painting for a while. But I wanted to set up like a nice still life area so I could paint it from life. Also take a bunch of photos. And since the last time I did that, I've moved everything around, so... But what do you think of that? Halloween special. We live stream. At least do a live stream, right? Of the deer skull. I'll go grab it actually. It's just around the corner here. Jumping around a little bit on this painting. Just because this was really bugging me. We've this brown area that's just too brown. It's better. Yeah, it's just way too much. I think if I can shape this a little bit better. It would look better. Just kind of the key to this whole thing. I'm actually going to paint right over this. Phone's going off. Hopefully you can't hear that. I still think this part is a little bit long. Well, maybe not, maybe not. But this part is a little bit too big. Try and cover that up. I have the color mix to fix this too, so I'll do that next. Let's see. Just a little poked out spots that I'm missing, a little just runs. I think this dark side starts to look really good when I add the highlights. Andrew Kadima, yeah, he's a painter right now. He's been doing a big collage. Oh, yeah, I know exactly who Andrew is, but I'm not aware of his current project. Which, that sounds cool. Actually, maybe I've seen a video of it. He definitely, I've seen him paint tiny little things. I know he has a sketchbook of supervillains. Oops. I know he has a sketchbook of supervillains. I think I'm going to use this blue, actually, and do that with this blue. It's like steel blue. Dang, this is a tricky little area. But yeah, Andrew is very, very, very good at painting. Like, absolute monster. Just kick up a little bit. I think I gotta stop playing around with these areas right now. They're not that important at the moment. But it just helps me see the full. Oof, like that's gonna look nice. Out of his villains scenes, my favorite is the one Overlook Hotel. Your favorite one is the Overlook Hotel. I'm not sure. I don't think I know that one. The one that jumps out to me is I can never remember the villains' names, but the evil guy from Dune. Oh God, what is he? But he basically just like chills in a bed, or like sorry, in a bath. Ooh, that's Nash. We're gonna pull a little bit down this way. Today is super detailed. So we go in, we pull this out like that. Let me actually zoom in on my reference here. Which maybe I don't like doing, but let's try it today. Oh, the hotel from The Shining. I do know. I know. Wait, is it the one where he's like, sticking his head through the door? Did he do that? Maybe a different person. Got the chill art stream vibes going right now. This feels good. Yeah, here's Johnny. Absolutely. No, I know the movie. I actually don't know if I've ever watched The Shining in full. I do not watch horror films. But I might have seen that one. Like I can pretty much remember the whole movie. I just don't know if I like saw clips of it or what. Shelley must be the main protagonist. I don't know what this song is, but it keeps sort of doing that. That's another thing I want to do is work on the music that I'm going to use in my videos. So I'm actually wondering, would it be cool to do a stream where I'm just like working on the music? I might do that. Okay, once this top wall is finished, I'm gonna The wall of cheese, the great wall of cheese. No, Shelley, sorry, he's the protagonist, antagonist. Yeah, Jack Nicholson is the antagonist. And I think the girl is the protagonist. Maybe I didn't say that right. Okay, let's do the other side. Just clean up this far wall here. Why am I calling them walls? I actually don't know. This one kind of goes out, then in, then out, then tuck. And then this is much more just like straight up. That looks nice. I think that top edge, oops, this is out a bit. Yeah. What's up, Sunshine Moon? Thanks for stopping by. It'd be cool if you used one of the music from the Fantastic Mr. Fox. The thing is, I just don't know if I'm allowed to use that music. So I'm trying to, like, not be taking other people's work. That's, the Fantastic Mr. Fox, that's, I think that's Wes Anderson, right? I think it's the stop motion Wes Anderson movie. Okay, so this part is actually totally wrong. I am going to, I think, fix this right now. Which means I just gotta get this paint off. Oh, okay. No problem, Super Pair. Thanks for stopping. I really appreciate you stopping by and checking out the stream. Maybe next time we'll work on music. I'm gonna watch Fantastic Mr. Fox maybe tonight and get inspired. But you have a really nice day. Look up here, and yeah, I want to see that cheese painting. Figure out a way to get me that cheese painting. Later. Okay, this is what I wanted to fix. We have this hump right here. Okay, this actually, I got my legs kicked back. Okay. This is not the easiest little fix here. We need cheddar cheese. Yeah, cheddar cheese one day. People really like these cheese paintings. That's why I'm making another one. So there's this little crack here. Just try and turn this a little bit more. I think that's better. And then we're gonna go pretty much straight down like this and then into this. So that's what I want to remove. So I'll just wipe off some of that extra little white bit that's on the top. And then paint over it. It's not going to be perfect right now. I'll have to fix it over multiple days maybe. Maybe other painters would be able to do this faster. Oh, I think this is going to be a really cool one. trying to at least get some coverage in here. Some of the white is spilled and mixed in this back layer. I may even need to let this dry a little longer than I have been. But it looks good on the live stream at least. Shout out to the people watching the live. I want this to be a place where you can turn it on, you know, do your own creative stuff, ask questions if you want to, but we're just vibing here. I'm just gonna add that little notch there. And then now that the notch is there, we're gonna go in and just sort of, oh shit. Okay, still fixable. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing maybe a live stream every Thursday afternoon. Getting some consistency going. Oh, this is gonna be really nice. I'm super excited for this painting already. I feel like the drawing is strong, and whenever you have a strong drawing, meaning just like the shapes, you know, kind of like this stage right now. Like if this looks good, there's a good chance that your final piece will at least look okay. Now colors, obviously you can mess them up with colors. But it's a good start. Yeah, you can kind of see I'm messing a little bit too much with this sort of outside edge here, and I'm pulling up the paint and it's glaring, and you can see there's a bit of a discoloration between the actual background and this, but that we're gonna sort that out. That's gonna be sorted out, I swear. I kind of want to make some tea. But then I'd have to leave the stream for a couple minutes, so don't think I'm going to do that. All right. Let's take a second to observe this. Dang, the side wall looks all right. You know, it looks all right. We'll leave this. We'll clean off the two fine brushes. Cleaning off these brushes in my Gamsol right here. It's kind of important to clean off your brushes in between colors if you're not. Thank you so much. Can I call you Jens? It is a decent little start I have going here. Unfortunately, I didn't start this on camera. I just started painting this, and then I thought, you know, this would be a fun little live stream project. So here we are. I think I might need to mix around some colors, but we'll just see what we got here. So on the outside of this, we have this, I think I have an orange, this works. So we kind of have something in between the two of these. Feels all right. Just gonna darken or add a layer to this. whole section, these large chunks. Just mixing up a little paint. And then we're going to go right over this. And fix some of these lines here. Like I said I would. And this one goes down like that. Oh, it's such a light part of the dark side. Like, it's already popping so much. It looks like it's just been, like, I'm talking about this section right here. Looks like it's just being pulled forward off the canvas, which I think is a good sign, but it does look a little awkward right now with everything else sort of not being in a finished state. The other part I want to get to is this. I need to get in here, connect this large chunk with just sort of this small little bit going up here. All right, that looks pretty good. It's exactly what I wanted, at least. And then we have this dark blob here that I want to, in fact, move up a little bit. Pushing. Just move that ever so slightly upward. Get rid of some of this dark that's building up in the end of the brush. Dip into some new paint. What's going on here? Is there a way I can pop this out actually? Pop out chat. Oh my god, I just have to look for 5 seconds and I can learn a thing or two. Close this, minimize that. By the way, if you're liking the stream, make sure you hit like. And I appreciate that actually. Appreciate it quite a bit. Is there a way to make this larger? There has to be, come on. No, okay. Too much fussing around. Don't care enough. Bam, bam, bam. We're going in, adding a bit of this lighter. Shoot, my brush isn't ideal for this. Adding some of this lighter brown. I actually think I want something darker than that. Which is good. We can do that. Something in between. Especially for this little area here. It's shadow, but it's kind of weird. It's on the dark side. But it's not the ultimate dark. What other brushes do I have here? Maybe this one. I'm just going back in, doing small correction here. I really want this like trident shape. One of the fun things I think about when painting is, what are these abstract shapes that I'm painting? What do they kind of look like? And trying to describe them like. Just trying to describe them. And the only way this one works is if I get in on there and I get in on there. Well, that was quick. Welcome back. Not much has changed over here. Just develop, slowly develop. That's what a painting is. We're just slowly, very slowly making it look slightly more like the thing we're painting. Which in this case is some blue cheese. Okay, I'm not loving how dark everything is on this, so I'm just gonna add how light everything is on this. I'm just gonna start to add a bit of shadow. Not everywhere, obviously, but a little bit here and there where necessary. Wow, that shows up so well on the live stream. I'm really happy with how this is looking. And then we darken this whole spot here. This whole dang spot. While leaving. Okay, so then there's a small little line there. Let's try to maintain something of the sort. That's way too thick. Way too thick. Just brush that down a little bit. That's better. Right into there. I'll have to darken that area too, but we'll just leave that for now. A bit of a light area down there. Leave that blank, give it some space. Color that, and then this down here needs a dark touch. So down near the edge of this crack, all the way to the edge, and around the base of the cheese here. I mean, this is looking clean. It is looking clean. So, can't tell me it isn't. I already know it is. That's nice there. Lots of little curls in a rind cheese like this. Very cool. Okay. Oh. Just for fun, I'm actually going to play around with the lights a little bit. I just want to get a sense of what I'm making here. So I'm going to add just that very slight glow. Well, it's actually so convenient to be able to just look over at a smaller version of your painting. It's basically like stepping back. So the way I've set up my studio is I want to have space to stand, at least 6-7 feet back. Give me a chance to observe. But, like I'm saying, because I have the live stream view on my OBS, I don't really have to do that as much. That is a critical part to nailing a painting, is being able to look at it from far away. You can't, we don't observe things so closely, so that's where you make mistakes in your paintings. It was one thing I noticed when I was doing the year of painting, actually, is there's a huge benefit to having a camera, because I would always record with my camera right in front of me. Right now it's off to the side, which I think works for this purpose. There's a chance I'll move it in front of me in the future, but it does obstruct, my ability to get up close, or actually, how close can I get? Look at how close I can get. Like, I'm one paintbrush away here, and I'm just barely getting into frame. So that's amazing, but like I was saying, it's very convenient to have, like, basically a small version of your work sitting right in front of you. Some of the other ways people do this is they'll take a picture of it, or some people flip it upside down. Some people they take their phone and use it as a black mirror and sort of look at their painting through the reflection on their phone. And these are all basically just different ways of, like, refreshing your eyes. Because it really feels like I'm doing very minor things right now because I'm so zoned in on the area of the painting that I'm working on. But if I just take a simple step back here and look over, I can see that I'm developing that light on the shadow side, on the far side of the rind. And that feels good. Now I'm going to push it even further. Hold on. I'm going to push that even further with some, like, white lights, white highlights. But for now, just a little bit of this orange is going to do the trick here. Just using the corner of this flat brush to get in some tight areas. But also, just whatever brush stroke lands. Usually it's pretty good. Yeah, that's nice. That's going to look really, really cool with, I think, some better highlights. All right, going to sort of my middle tone, working in 3 tones, dark, middle, light. And then I can push those even further later on, but for now, that's what we're working with. See if I can move this just a smidge. And then it's not really like this. So we're changing it. Okay. Now to the darkest dark that I have, pretty much a black. Once again, shout out to everyone listening, hanging out. I appreciate it. I think what I want to do is a stream every Thursday afternoon. So if this is what you're into and you're free on Thursdays, check and see if I'm live. I'm trying to be live a little more often. This is kind of the preliminary test, and I would say the test is going pretty freaking well. Usually I just have tech issues. Which is never fun. this secondary part here. Okay. Needs to be something separating these two. Not this light, but we'll take it. Oh. Sweet. Sweet. Just gonna keep pushing slowly backward this direction. Which might need a light color. We'll just stick with the light that I have, but it'll be fun mixing up. I think what I'll do, continue to use these colors. And then mix up some new colors. Tomorrow. Probably work on this tomorrow. If I can get part of the way here, wouldn't that be something nice? Wow, it really is developing fast on the dark side here. And then we want to make sure the light part is right down this seam. There is definitely... Shit, this is going way too deep, actually. So it could be curls around here. It still looks nice. Okay. Try and shape this a little better. Now let's pull up there. And actually going in with the dark darks, because this needs a heavy dark right here. This needs a little bit of drop shadow. Not that much, unfortunately, but can always fix it. Okay, trying to find my reference here. Let's just dab around. And then what am I doing with this? That was a mistake. I can fix it though. Did I just ruin it? Shit. Hey, keep it real with me, man. I was thinking, I don't know about this line. It's actually so funny. I remember I was watching Bob Ross on Twitch. And he would add a tree and the whole chat just loses their mind. He ruined it. This is not quite as... We're going to go up a little bit more. Okay, from there, have the light part right below. That looks good. I'm always surprised. Whenever something looks good. I can just dig out this edge. It's kind of just getting darker and darker as we go back towards this corner. Squint at my reference here. Yeah. Just gonna glaze this a little bit. Adding linseed oil to my medium tone. And honestly, man, all the way up here, all this down here, this needs to be darkened. Huge moment for the piece right here. Just a little bit more because it's not going on heavy, which is good. Like that. Gonna add white ridges all the way up to there. Okay, let's just darken this straight up. Just with burnt umber. Yeah, I think I'm safe to just fill in almost all of this. And then with the highlight, I can pop it up. Hopefully leave a few brush strokes in here too. Yeah, just like this, just like that. Screw it. Go back in with the black. Just a tiny bit of black. And we're gonna go ahead and redraw this line. Keep it really light. It's like reflecting light, okay. Oof. I tried to start with that today, and it was not good. Not a good idea. I tried to start by adding this little point to the end of the shadow, and I was kind of a little shaky. All right, I'm just gonna go right underneath some of these overhanging pieces. We're gonna darken these. eventually I'm adding sort of a blue-green in this corner. But if I start by just creating the value a little bit, I think it'll be easier to get looking good. So that's what I'm gonna frickin' do. Just super slight. Even that's kind of nice. I also need to cut in there. I have to remember that when I'm doing the board. Okay, a little extra dark. Under here is what I need. Like, it's so funny. Like, that adds us so much depth instantly. Come on through and shape this chunk of cheese here. It's probably too wide. What's up, Saucy Rossi? Appreciate it. Glad you think it's cool. You know, some people call me Saucy Rossi. Back when I would play hockey. But I legitimately stopped playing hockey so I could paint more. Only so much time in the day. This makes me want to do like just a 24-hour challenge. I stay basically live 24 hours in this room, making as many painting projects as I can, working on whatever I want as long as it's sort of art-based. Maybe it should be painting. Maybe it should just be painting. I think that'd be freaking crazy. Could I do that? Could I just like start on a Friday, end on a Saturday night? Friday night, Saturday night. Seems doable. Maybe have friends come by. Maybe not. Have a friend come by and I'll paint their portrait, set up the still life. Got lots of ideas. I mean, that's a kind of basic idea for sure, but... Okay, I feel like I got distracted on this shadow. I should go back to the dark side of the cheese and continue the progress I was making. I feel like I have like another max an hour to work before I have to go start cooking. Okay, once again, just sort of squinting down and looking at my painting. The big difference that I see when I squint down and look at the reference versus look at my painting is there's a huge highlighted area right here, which you can see in the reference. It's very obvious once you squint down. You see the different light areas and dark areas very clearly. So I'm just gonna splash a bit of light here. Just because I don't really have the light on the right brush, but and I feel like it works reasonably well there. fill in some of this other area, the brown. And then this needs to be darker. And this needs to be darker. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not that anyone was saying, hey, that shit isn't perfect. What the fuck, dude? That's not perfect, man. Okay, I'm going to take a break from the dark side for a second. I think it looks decent, and I would feel better if some of the other colors in the composition were a little closer to what they should be, meaning I'm going to work on the top portion segment of the cheese. So I'm going to mix a little bit more, I guess, yellow. I'm going to mix a little more yellow, because right now, if I look at my reference image and I compare that to what I've got painted, it's just a little bit too white. It's actually way too white. I'm going to put even a little bit of blue, because it's the top section here, it's definitely white. It's tinted yellowish. I think part of that is because of the yellow light that I used to light this particular photo. But it's also pushing a little bit towards green. So if I add yellow and blue to white, hopefully I'll get a color that's similar to that. But it's you know, it's all good either way. Okay, so clean these brushes off. This brush is clean. Will I need dark black? I'll just keep this one. This one can have paint on it. If I don't have paint on it, flip it right. Okay, will not need this brown, so I will be cleaning it off. Remember, when you're cleaning your brushes off with one of these things where there's sort of like a grate at the bottom that you're rubbing the bristles on to get the paint off, I think it's important when they're small little brushes like this and you want them to maintain their shape, you should be brushing in one direction. You know, if you're same with painting. If you're rubbing it all over back and forth, just shaking your hand around, I mean, there's a higher chance that the bristles will separate. So this one I can use. Okay, first things first, we need yellow. Just a little bit more yellow on the palette. So squeeze that out right there. I think by the way, in the future, I think it'd be awesome to have the palette cam. So I have another webcam, somehow rig it to this little cart that I have. And then you can see the you can see the canvas, you can see me, and you can see the palette. I think that'd be sort of the peak. Okay, mixing in yellow here, which I kind of had been doing too, but I guess not enough. Because the most boring part about these is probably the color mixing, but if I had a camera on it, then it might be one of the more interesting. I always find color mixing to be fairly interesting. Okay, I'm going to paint a segment here. Something big enough where you can actually tell what I'm changing. That feels closer. Can I go further? Yes. So we're going to take a little bit more yellow. I might actually make a mix here. Yeah. So take a little bit of what I currently have, a little bit of yellow. Now I'm mixing with the palette knife. Take a tiny ass amount of blue. It always looks so yellow on my palette, which is why I think I didn't go far enough. Oh, that is some freaking cheese under a yellow light if I've ever seen one. Let's try this out. It's probably not going to be enough as well. But let's freaking try it out. Try and maintain the shape here as best I can, if not improve it. And I know the edge of the cheese compared to the middle of the cheese, they're different colors, but for now I'm just trying to get a base, sort of base average that I can then add different areas, like sort of mix in. Oh, this is mixing with the other paint that's already down, which is predictable. But it is also making it less light, or making it more white, less yellow. Okay, this goes all the way to this edge here. It's still pushing in the right direction. I'm still gonna spend some time painting over. And while I'm doing so, I'll be refining the shape. So I don't think this is the most efficient way to tackle this painting. But like, you know, doesn't matter. Keep filling this in. Okay, I think I'm just gonna fill this in as I have it. Once I'm in the middle, I'm not gonna touch these like sort of preliminary spots of blue I've claimed for the mold. The mold is gonna be a fun one to paint. I don't think I did a great job. Like it was okay on the like the more recent video where I painted some cheese. I think I did a pretty good job on the 365 cheese painting. Hopefully this is my best one yet though. Because this one I'm spending a good amount of time on. It's supposed to go to one of my parents' friends. I borrowed the cutting board that this cheese is sitting on top of. I borrowed that from my parents. And apparently the person, they bought it from someone they know, and they think it'd be a nice gift to give them a painted piece of cheese on the board that they make and sell. So it's kind of cool. I think that's nice. Just essentially changing the color of this. Something you could do in a second on Photoshop, but that's not what we do here. I do a little Photoshopping, to be fair. Oh, and I'll get a better microphone for next stream too. I have a plan for that. a second to make sure that these, oh shit, these lines are crisp and I just totally fucked them up. Oh, my tummy's hungry. Just heard a little gargle. I am gonna make tacos tonight. And probably play Mega Bonk. I have been, I think, as obsessed as the rest of the internet is. Usually I don't care. But I love those little indie games. Simple, fun. You can watch a show while you play. It's a great way to unwind. This feels like it's not doing much, but it is a big difference. It is a big difference, trust me. It's gonna look so freaking good. Almost got this whole thing covered. Then, do I do that? It is kind of all the same color. I think I want it to be slightly more orange around the outside top edge for sure. Maybe in some areas in the middle too, I actually don't know. Just using a flat brush here. Turning it every which way so I can get it to fit in these smaller little areas. I want to shout out everybody who's been watching or has stopped in. It feels like this live stream has been a bit of a success and something I want to continue to do. Like I said, maybe every Thursday I'll do a bit of live painting. Whatever I'm working on at the time. Or maybe I start to work on specific stuff during the live streams. I also want to live stream a little bit of music making. I've never made music, but I need some music for the channel. I need it for the videos that I'm making. So I think it'd be cool to just sort of chill, make some music, chat with the chat. talk art, talk music, talk direction of the music that I'm making, literally. Because I want some feedback. That's one of the things I struggle with. I feel like I understand how to put together visually a film, a freaking YouTube video at least. But the music part, I just don't know how to do it. So I figure if I just start making it myself, maybe I'll figure it out. Come up with something good. Oh, man. It looks so white in the camera. Almost looks like I didn't really do anything. But made some solid progress on this side here. Maybe tomorrow I'll work on this again. I could probably get a live up. Finish this board. One of the things I do actually want to try, it was not very successful, is just see if I can get a little bit more darkness out of the background. And the foreground, frankly, but mostly it's just totally black on the background. So let's just see, like, is this... I'll have to zoom out again. 1 second, please. I can't hit my protein. 76 bomba clot chicken nuggets. Oh yeah, that looks darker. Jeez, I gotta make this small. Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. This is the whole piece. I had it zoomed in a little bit. This is so scuffed, but there we go. I'll just spend the next few minutes giving this background, if it works. Let's see. It's pretty tacky. Usually my burnt umber is dry at this point. Okay, it's kind of working. We'll just give a layer. Spread out some paint and then see if we can mix it together. Make something nice. I have a bigger brush, but I mean, I don't really have a good reason I'm not. Like, I really should be using it. Kind of soaks up a lot of paint. That's a reason. Like, it has to sort of get soaked up, saturated with paint before you can even start applying it. Oh, yeah. If this was black, I can already tell this is going to look cleaner. Okay, I'm just going to press out what other excess I have. Let's use the big brush. And by big, I mean this. Just going straight paint. No Gamsol. No Gamsol, no linseed oil. Those are the mediums. And I've got actually a good amount of blue and brown on the palette, so I'll mix up the rest into a black right now. Because otherwise, they're just going to go to waste. Well, I'll put them in the freezer, but better to use it now. So I'm just mixing up a black over to the side here. Once again, I think for next Thursday I will have a palette cam. The palette cam is just going to go right below my webcam. There's space for it, right? Like, I could easily fit all this stuff on here. So why not do that? We'll see what I'll be painting next week. Next week, what could I do? I did want to try like a bouquet of flowers. It'll be close to Halloween, so we had a suggestion of doing a pumpkin. I have a skull of, I think, a deer skull. I'll probably paint that. I think that would be super fun. So the day before, I'll do like a drawing or something on the board. I'll have to set it up. I'll have to get some pictures of it too. Okay, decent amount to do, but it's all doable. Take a picture of the skull. Yeah, take a bunch of pictures of it. And I'll release that to the public too, so anyone who wants to paint that same skull from reference photo, I'll make the pictures available on my website for free. By the way, if you want to paint this cheese that you're looking at right here, I have a free photo pack that you can check out. My website is johnye.com, so you can find it on there. And paint one yourself. I've already had a couple people share with me the paintings that they made, which is so cool. I can't get over that. Somebody might want to paint some reference that I created, but I've done it for other people. I mean, I've gone on Pinterest and I've found the best references that I could find that suit what I'm trying to make. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find, I think, good, well-lit photos. Okay, getting real close to this cheese here. Gonna be pretty careful. Maybe just a touch of linseed just to let this glide a little bit better. Let's see how that messes with my... She works pretty well. Really happy with the way the rind went today. I think it looks pretty good for like a preliminary layer of color. I mean, it basically looks done. Like once I finish the rest of the painting, I think it'll come into its own, but I'm positive that I will continue to work on this darker area of the cheese. The cheese, baby. Okay, just get close here without touching. That's nice. Little linseed oil goes a long way. If you don't know, all paint is made up of an oil. It's typically linseed oil out of the tube, and a pigment. So bone black, for example, used to be, the burnt remains of bones, essentially charcoal. I don't think they do that anymore. It's some synthetic version now, but the idea is it's just oil paint, just oil and pigment. I'm almost out of the paint that I've mixed here. I think that's sort of a sign that it's been a good session. We're not close to done yet, but maybe in the next half hour one of the things I did want to do was make this a little more defined. Let's see here. So funny, I always get nervous to start the live stream, but once I do it, I have a blast. I don't really want to stop. Like, I'm so hungry right now. And I have to cook the entire meal first. Ooh, that's looking pretty freaking good. Although is that Boeing? No, that looks okay. Not the airplane company. Okay. Oh shit, it is. Isn't there bone black too? Ivory black, bone black? Yeah, ivory black was made with charred tusks, but thankfully is now made with charred animal bone, at least according to art supplies. I think you're completely right. Meaning that, like, I feel like this is so deep, but if you're vegan, you probably shouldn't use ivory black or bone black. But funny enough, Ken Goshen, who's one of the art instructors that I really like, at least online, and at least currently, he's vegan, but he's like, you know what? I draw the line. Yeah, I'll use bone black, or I'll use ivory black, whatever it was, and that stirred the pot a little bit too in the chat, but it's kind of funny. Thanks for chiming in. Hey, you're never late. You can, Mateus, you can always come back next week. The plan is to do this every Thursday. I want to set up a schedule that eventually I can do it way more, but for now I want to do it once a week. Just work on a painting. I want to have a bunch of paintings on the go. Could be anything. But yeah, love my series. I really appreciate that. I always feel so metal using ivory black. Yeah, I mean, the animals are. It's tough because they would argue that you're creating demand by buying the product that is an animal product, but I think it's a pretty good use. But I'm really happy you enjoyed the series. I'm trying to get back to my painting habits that I had while I was doing the series. Because I have not been painting as much as I would have liked. I'm still making art every day in some capacity. But it was really nice to have that structure of painting every single day and really feeling like I needed to, oftentimes spend up to 2 hours in one day just working on something, right? So I think these live streams are a path to that, though. Are you a big fan of metal, by the way? I feel like I don't interact with a lot of people that like metal music. Played a board game about art galleries when you started this live stream? Wait, what's the board game called? That's awesome. You're catching the tail end of it, but I promise there will be more. Because I can only paint really for so long before I start to get a little fatigued. About Arc Galleries, that sounds like a board game I would really like to play. And none of my other friends would want to play it. But I would play it. So I'm just cleaning off the brushes right now. If you did tune in and watch, thank you so much for watching. I'm still going to hang out here for another few minutes at least, maybe 10, 20 minutes. I'm going to clean the brushes, organize my paint so that it's ready to go tomorrow. And I'll show you what I do with the excess paint that I have on the palette. Because I've always kind of wondered what people do, and I'm sure that there's better ways to do it, but this is the way I do it. So, okay. First things first, I want to put away all the periphery stuff here. I got so I've clipped my oil to my palette, so I'll remove that. And I'll just throw this lid back on. Oh, that quality is so good. It's amazing. My phone is just literally okay. Sometimes the threads don't really want to work on this because of all the oil squished in there. So put that in its spot. Next, I used to be more into metal, but I've gotten softer as the world gets harder. Consistency is hard as an artist. Totally agree. I rotate interest. Currently working on no way. Yeah, good quality, right? You're working on a cookbook. That's sick. There's a lot of art-related board games, but the one I played is called Gallerist. Well, I do love European art, probably the most. So that might work for me. But I'm when I say European, it's like mostly maybe Dutch and Italian, French. Maybe decent amount. Okay, so I have this container here. A container lid, sorry. And you can see there's some paint remnants on it. But what I like to do is, I'll just show you the palette too. So this is the palette. Kind of. Okay, sorry. That might have been loud. Nice. Metal covers are great, but I'm not into normal metal songs. I like to listen to everything except for country music, and like loud metal music. Like if they're yelling, screaming. Like I kind of like Polyphia, if you know what Polyphia, who Polyphia is, but it feels more instrumental. Anyway, as you just saw there, I'm grabbing the paint off there and I'm just putting it on the corner. If anyone cares, grabbing some paint, putting it in its little spot, wiping off my palette knife. It mostly ends up being white and blue and burnt umber, although I used up all my other primaries. Next, I'm going to grab just a few of these. Actually, just going to grab all of this, mix this up, grab all of that. But yeah, I hate country music. It's just not my thing. And my city has a huge country music festival, which is not ideal. But I do attend, and I do have some fun. So I'm just grabbing each little bit of paint and just sort of putting it into this. I'm going to mix this. Whenever there's something that's like just not big enough to grab on its own, mix it together. It'll be useful tomorrow, I swear. Put that on its spot. And I grab this stuff and I put that in its spot. Sorry, I'll read your message in a sec. They're just kind of far away. I can't read them. So now I have all this, and I'm just going to literally pop this in my freezer. It goes in the freezer because I'm going to use it tomorrow. And this is all basically paint from today. It still lasts. It still seems to work, so that's the way I do it. I don't even cover it. But if you're going to leave it in the freezer for longer than a day, I'd probably figure out a way to keep the air from getting to it. But I'll be right back. 1 second. Pop this in the freezer. I'm back. Okay, let's catch up here. I'm pretty into pop rock country lately. I love Kanan Cox, maybe? I think I'm the exact opposite. I might like rock country. Pop country I definitely don't like. And I might kind of like underground, like more classical country. I think is pretty decent. Your palette is pretty clean, even too clean for me. I clean it after every single use. So I'm going to do that right now. I should zoom this out even further. There we go. Kinda. Get that to at least cover the whole screen. Okay. I think this eventually I'll get a nice patina, but you can see like I generally keep my colors up here in the same spots. So let's just I'm gonna scrape off everything that I used today. But I appreciate that you think it's clean. That's nice. Oof, that's scrape. That's scraping a little differently than I want. Okay, get most of the paint off. Yeah, team freezer. Do you put your paints in the freezer? I feel like that's fine. All right, it's probably fine. Take this exact same cloth that I've been using all day. So you can see, I like to go white, yellow, orange, red, brown, blue, black, for the most part. As far as my paints out of the tubes go, I've got a bit of a system. And then everything else gets mixed down here. And the only reason there's a bunch of crap on here is because I left it for too long, too many times. And now there's just stuck on stuff that if I try and scrape it off, it'll scrape up the wood and then I'll have to I don't know what it's called, but when you soak it with linseed oil and let it sit. So, I don't want to do that. Let's go back to the painting so people can see the painting a little bit. But that's nice. Okay, the brushes are clean. The palette's clean. Put my lid on my Gamsol so I'm not just venting out toxicity. Everything else is sort of covered. And I think that's it. So we'll just sort of address some of these. What's up, Mike? Thanks for popping in. Right at the end here. You might have to catch the video. Let's see here. All genres are some, except that it's actually hard to say what I'm actually playing. Wait, did you get some ads? I tried to pause my ads, but oh, they unpaused at some point here. Damn, we got 7 people in here at the end of the stream. Thanks for popping in, guys. I really appreciate everyone who came in to watch. That's a good question, actually, Matthias. I'm tempted to switch to glass. And I probably will eventually. Actually, I think it'd be really nice. You got an ad for Botox? What the hell? I think that says a lot about you. But I was thinking, we'll just hang out and chat for a little bit here. Whoa. Anyway, so I've got this movable tray, right? So I keep all my paint stuff in it. But I think if I could get a piece of glass that was the exact size as this, for the most part, maybe like a little notch so I could pull it out, clean it. Look how perfectly, by the way. This fits in like almost perfectly. There's a little gap on this side, but it's kind of a nice fit. So I think having some glass in there would be pretty cool. And that's probably what I'll do with my next palette once I get really fed up with this one. Yeah, so neutral, you're right, neutral gray. I'll put, I guess I'll get like a piece of paper that I'll lay underneath. I have like mobile palettes, what do you call them? Yeah. So I have these. These are disposable palettes, but it's just so wasteful. Like, I use them if I go out and I don't have my palette, but something like this to go behind the glass I think would be ideal. Look at that gray. Now we can actually kind of compare the cheese color a little bit better, I feel like. Like that looks white, and that looks a little more yellow. But yeah, if you have any questions here at the end of the stream, this is a perfect time. I'm just going to do a little chat reading and then cook some tacos for dinner. You got cream for your knee cream ad? That's funny. Yeah, okay, so I could get plexiglass. Does the plexiglass scratch though? I think ideally I want something that I can use. I'm not sure what they call it. Like maybe they're literally like paint chippers, but you can just sort of run it across and get rid of all the dried paint really easily. But yeah, plexiglass, or yeah, if I could get a frame for the dollar. The thing is, I'll probably use a frame from the dollar store, but I want it to fit in this tray. So that's my issue. Oh man. How long did we go for here? Does it say somewhere? On my end? How many ads did you guys have to sit through? Was it painful? Just the one? Oh, we've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's good. Right, so I'd be able to scrape it off if I was just a little careful, which is cool. Maybe plexiglass is the play then, because it would be cheaper. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I'm not trying to get rid of this quite yet. I think once it gets really messy, I kind of think it I like the aesthetic of the wooden one. But the one that I have now it's a little bit warped. Let me see what I'm showing here. It's kind of warped. I guess you can't really see that. But that's because I would just take my whole palette with the paint left on it, and I'd throw that whole thing in the freezer. But now I'm a little bit better and I use the small trays. 30 to 45 seconds before you can skip. But how did you get like? So we've been streaming for 2 hours. I don't know how long you've been watching, but were there a lot of ads throughout? Use picture frame plus neutral gray picture matting. Ooh, yeah, that's a good option too. So yeah, cheap frame. Put something gray in the frame. I want a really big frame too. Like if I'm gonna do a glass palette, I may as well have a giant one. I have one more question about the stream. So I'm curious, how many ads did you get? Like, did you get an ad every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes? Because I'll change that if it's a lot. I don't want it to be a lot. And I'm also curious if you can hear the music and if you like listening to the music or if you don't. Because I just sort of threw on a quick copyright-free playlist, but some people use wax. Oh, I also think I should make. I gotta. There's such a big delay in the stream. I think some people use wax paper for acrylics. You got 2 since you were here. That's kind of aggressive. I wondered if you're a channel member, do you not get ads? Is it the same as Twitch? Okay, good. You can't hear the music? Good. I did have some music playing, but it was kind of more for me. I usually have just something playing in the background. Actually, recently, while I've been painting this, I've been watching Harry Potter back. But I figured that would be a little risky. But if you watch for 25 minutes and only got one ad, I think that's alright. That's not too bad. If it was more aggressive than that, I would not be into it. Okay, so if... It's pretty random. Yeah, so YouTube members will be able to do... Okay, that's at least something. I should lower that to like something really cheap. I haven't really played... I just accepted the... Because I guess YouTube membership is... Oh, oils and acrylics. I had a feeling that's what you meant. Yeah, wax paper. No way you're on T9 right now. That is a throwback. I haven't used T9 since... It's gotta be like 15... At least 10 years. Let's see. How do I see my live? I wish this would work. I'm already live. I'm using the streaming software. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, so I set up my memberships because it's just something that I unlocked. But I haven't really set up any reason to do it, like any reason for someone to join membership, so I don't really know what the perks are. Did I try some watercolors lately? I have, but they're so ugly. I'm so bad at watercolor. I think like when I'm painting with oil paints, I lean into the fact that you can move them on the canvas a lot. And watercolor, you cannot do that at all. It totally ruins the painting if you do that. So I've tried a couple watercolors. I usually do it when I travel. I bring my watercolor set. But I haven't been traveling much. But I am going to travel soon. So I'll bring it then. Anyway, my point is, Not really. Too hard. Maybe in the future I'll do it, but for now, sticking with oils. Really happy with the oils so far. I could make another scene. Scene number 2. Scene number 2 just has... Sorry, you can't see me right now. Video capture device. Existing. And then I do this. This is the Hangout. This is the other thing. I've got my camera is so high up. I couldn't find a better spot to put it. But yeah, whatever. It's chill. So then I can switch from scene 1 to scene 2. To scene 1 to scene 2. So I can kind of make a face and then go back. Get like a foot pedal to change from scene to scene. I think this could be fun. So my plan, I don't know if you guys watched my other video. I made a video about landscapes. I made a video about ugly t-shirts that I made. My next video, the plan is to redo the studio space I have. So I have a small room in here and I want to just make it the perfect painting room, remove all glare, set up way better lights, but also make it perfect for streaming. Like really easy to just get streaming and, make it easy for me to just turn it on and start painting like I normally would. So that's the plan for the next video. Let me know what you think. The ideal painting space. Maybe we can talk about it in a future live stream. Tell me what you think. What makes the ideal studio space. T9 works pretty well if you use all of the languages like every day. Right, that would be tricky. Yeah, that would be very tricky. Yeah, I'm probably not using good paper. I'm just using watercolor paper that came with my set, and it's really small. That's the other thing. So working tiny makes it difficult. Not knowing what you're doing makes it difficult. But I do plan on watercolor more, like using watercolors more, because it's just so easy to travel with. But I'm just obsessed with oil at the moment. I know T9 works well. Like I remember T9. I remember like sitting in class, like typing underneath the desk, and I knew where every key was, and I could type without looking. Whereas I don't know if I could do that now on my iPhone. Yeah, I'm literally too scared to do it. I'm literally too scared to paint with watercolor. I want to paint with oil, damn it. And people care more about oil paintings, frankly. If I'm to be like, if I want to make money off this, I think it's better to paint with oil paint. But some of my favorite artists, especially contemporary ones, are watercolor painters. So my favorite of all time are definitely oil painters. The old oil painters are my favorites, but there's some really cool watercolor artists. Okay. Probably need a half. Okay, honestly, I appreciate this, everyone. I thank you so much for watching the stream and chilling with me and hanging out and chatting if you chatted or lurking if you lurked. But I think I gotta call it. I gotta make some dinner. Got some stuff to do tonight too. So we did good. Like 2.5 hour session, probably 2 hours of painting, solid painting. Always remember gouache is a great helper with watercolors. I'm interested in trying gouache. Because it seems to me like it's basically acrylic or oil paint. It's much more similar. So there's probably an easier gap to bridge if I use gouache. So maybe I'll do gouache first. I'll check if Medine has any. Maybe they'll send me some gouache paint. I keep saying Medine. Meeden. Send me some gouache. Send me some gouache, Meeden. They sent me this, by the way. And this is another reason I got to use oils. Look at this. Like, I have never owned this many colors in my life. And I'll even show you. Let's see. Some of these are hues for sure. Titanium white. Oh, these might all be hues. That's a hue, that's a hue. Yellow ochre is... Yeah, so the yellow ochre at least is just one pigment. Like, let me see actually. So yellow ochre. This is yellow ochre that they sent me. Let's see here. It depends on your local bubble bars. That's true. That is true. The people that buy my art know nothing about art, so maybe they would buy watercolor too. Okay, so this is Medine. This is my Winsor Newton. They're both yellow ochre, so PY42. And this one is also see that PY42? Permanence AA. I think that is this block. They all do different things, but this is like permanence, and what are the pluses? Pluses are something else. So they both have this like square. I don't know, maybe this is better. It has 3 pluses, and then this one only has 2 A's. Can you read that? There we go. So, but functionally, PY42, PY42, these are essentially the same paints. So I'm excited to dip into these more. They sent me huge tubes too, or bigger tubes. So I've been burning through those. Anyway, I've been yammering on way too long. I gotta make dinner. I wanted to sit and chill here, so I'm definitely gonna do this again. But that is it for me. Thank you for watching. We'll work more on this painting hopefully in the future. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow too. Why not? We'll do the blue section. So I'll try and be on again tomorrow around the same time. If you want to join, that'd be sweet. If not, totally get it. Live your lives. But yeah, long-winded goodbye. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one, guys.